All right, you're listening to episode 21 of the Bachelor podcast.
Welcome to the Bachelor podcast, a show about everything but nothing at the same time. Two guys that took jobs away from their families and living the Bachelor lifestyle.
All right, Dwayne. Good afternoon, I guess it is now.
Yeah, it is 12:20.
That is right.
Time right now.
Yeah. So we definitely did a few minor adjustments. I recommend everybody go out to the YouTube to see our little setup.
Yeah, it's first, we do a lot of recording in different areas. I mean, that's the whole part of the Bachelor lifestyle. Wherever we're at, we try to get a recording. But if we can, to get in a studio every now and then to see if we can put out a little bit better quality, I mean, that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
So we have temporarily converted a room at the crib for this podcast. It's hopefully the sound's a little bit better. We're working the lights. The background, I don't know, after we look at it, may be too white. We need a different color.
Too much white.
But it's a new area, same equipment. Just added some extra lights, which I'm not sure if we have the lights facing the right way right now.
Yeah, we are definitely not professionals.
But the coffee's hot. It's cold outside.
That it is. It dropped tremendously.
Like what, at 4 something this morning? It was 41.
Yeah, it dropped. I was walking around in a t-shirt this morning, and then I had to put a hoodie on when I hopped out of the car.
And then it's 8 hours later, it's about 20 degrees colder with 30-mile-an-hour winds. So it's a peach of a day here in Missouri.
Peach. So we, as you can see, if you're listening to YouTube, if not, please go check out YouTube. So that way you can see my ugly face. We have shoes out here, and they're all your shoes because I didn't bring any of my shoes. Granted, I threw away half of them.
Yeah. So the topics we like to go over, being, doing a lot of traveling that we do, and both of us do like to work out. So I struggle with finding one pair of shoes that I can feel comfortable with lifting in, at the same time go for a long run.
Yeah, and CrossFit shoes are definitely not one of those type. That your typical Nanos and Metcons are not made for like long distance running.
Yeah, so I've tried it. They're super flat-footed, which I don't think that's a problem. They just don't have any type of flex. Their soles are so hard that I have issues running long miles in them.
Yeah, well, they're mostly used for like Metcons and box jumps, and like all the different movements that you'll do. Even rope climbs too. A lot of the Nanos have like the inside of the sole for the
these
rope.
are the nope, not those. These, I think these are the 4s, and they have actual grips on the inside that help grip a rope.
Yeah.
And they're designed for CrossFit, and I wouldn't want to run more than an 800 meter in them. Anything farther, it starts getting to me.
I had that issue. I didn't even like running more than 400 meters, for like in one setting. Anything over 400 meters, it kind of seemed to bother me. But I'll tell you what you don't want to run in, and that is lifters.
Well.
I've done that before.
Anyone that's wore lifters can tell you that.
Well, I forgot I had them on, and I was doing my strength event, and then I was moved on to a Metcon, which was also the same lift, just a lighter weight. So I had my lifters on, and I decided to add in like a 200 meter run. Yeah, that about 100 meters into it, I realized I made a mistake. So I had to switch those out mid workout.
Well, so let's talk about specific shoes first. As you can, for those of you that can't see, I have Nanos, which are made by Reebok, from 2, 3, 5, and 7 is what I have.
See, I think I got the 3s and the 5s is what I have.
And my favorite one to lift in, still to this day, is the Nano 2s.
Well, do you have the U-form fit or whatever they call it too?
Yeah, it was. But even I have a separate set of 2s. Actually, I have two. I have three sets of 2s,
Yeah.
and they are by far my favorite ones to work out in. They got more flex. They're more comfortable. They're not quite as wide on the bottom. Then if you look at the 7s, which I didn't go with the 8s because I didn't like the 7s that much. They're like wearing clogs. I mean, they're super hard. There's not a lot of give in them. They're just, I wasn't as impressed with them. I was hoping that the new ones were going to come out were going to be a lot more flexible. But again, they're super stiff. They made the toe a little bit wider, I believe, than what the 2s are. So I wasn't super excited as I thought I was going to be when I got them. I got them and I put them on. I'm like, man, they feel a little bit better than the 5s, but they're still not as good as the 2s. So that's why I went ahead and bought another pair of 2s, because they keep coming out with, they keep producing the 2s. So I think they do that for a reason. One, it's, I guess, the nostalgic part of it. Another is it's a good freaking shoe for lifting for me. I know that you're, as far as lifting, weightlifting, what's your jam?
It really depends. So each one, it like the squat motion. So anytime you have like a clean into the squat, or like a squat clean, or just a front squat or a back squat, I prefer to use the lifters, which they call them lifters because well, I mean, they're used for lifting, I'm sure, but the heel of it is raised, I think, anywhere from a half an inch to an inch and a half.
So what lifters did you go with? Have you tried different ones, or you just go one?
And I mean, lifters are a lot more expensive too than your traditional like CrossFit shoe, or even your Nikes, or even just Brooks and stuff like that. I mean, an average set of lifters will run you a minimum 160, and then they go well up into 200, 250.
Yeah, and I think you can even go, there's an eBay site, or there's even a Instagram page that all they do is sell older style lifters. Like the big ones are the Adidas ones. The old school Adidas ones are like the ones to get, I guess. I've never lifted in lifters. My coach that I had before I took the new job, he was pushing me to get some lifters to perform better. And I never jumped because, well, I took that move and my lifting as a program went, in the can, as they say.
But they what was it? I think I've got like the Reebok 2.0s or whatever, I think is what they're called. But I've been eyeing those. I'll probably butcher the name, but the Nike Romulos, I think.
Is it a type of lifter? Or?
Yeah, it's a Nike lifter. And then, but I mean, there's other brands out there besides that. Those are just the two that I'm most familiar with.
Well, speaking of brands, I mean, both of us. I mean, you look on my table here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 Reeboks.
Yeah.
And then those are the only type of shoe that I actually lift in. You'll go from Nike to Reebok to even you'll mix in some Under Armours, won't you?
I wear Under Armour gear, but I don't actually wear Under Armour shoes. I like to find an overall kind of. It really depends, because sometimes I like to mix and match, like running. So I will, for the most part, I'll stick to my Reeboks during like doing CrossFit type stuff, and then running though, any type of running, I have to have Brooks.
Is that what you got on now?
Yeah, I have Brooks on now, and they're just overall the best running shoe I've found.
Well, it's funny you say that, because my wife, she works out. She does Metcons and stuff like that. She follows a program called Street Parking. But before she did her first marathon, she bought a pair of Brooks, because the group that she was running with, it's called Life Runners, a lot of them supported Brooks. And she wore them, and they tore her feet up. She was not happy with them
Oh,
at
I
all.
love them. And it all, I mean, they make different kinds too. So you'd probably have to, look at what kind of Brooks. I mean, you got some for like the support, and I don't know if she has flat feet, pronated, supinated, or.
Well, she went to a running store.
Okay, then they should have figured.
They
should have definitely got her hooked up on that. Then
they did the whole thing. Looked at her feet, made her walk barefoot.
That's how I got
treadmill.
That's how I got my first pair of Brooks was at a running store there in Columbia.
Yeah, well, that's where she was at.
Down there by that Wilson's Fitness, I think.
It's downtown is where she was at.
So, I mean, they did all that testing, and then that was the only. I think I bought a couple more pair of those. I think they're called the Brooks Adrenaline. And then I've recently, mostly I went back to Nikes, but Nikes are notorious for horrible for running, in my opinion.
Well,
so
now you're speaking. That's what I've ran in for years, or Nike, and
yeah, they're horrible for running.
These new ones, they're called the Epic.
Yeah, I've went through.
And they are one of the best running shoes I've ever had. They're super light. They're breathable. They got this flex wire in here, what they call flex wire, which, I don't even untie these. Doesn't even have a tongue. It's all one shoe. They say that you can run in these without socks. I can't do that. I'll get blisters, something horrible.
Well, I mean, I will say that I made it work with like the Nike FS Lite runs.
I correct myself. It's fly knit, not fly wire. My bad.
Whatever, they're all the same. But yeah, I'm not a Nike, and it could be that I bought a couple of different pairs of bad Nike socks or shoes. But yeah, Brooks all the way on running, and then lifters. I'm trying to think what else I was going to say. Now, deadlift, I will actually lift barefoot 90% of the time. So,
well, Epic React, that's the name of these. But it's funny, you went into socks. So, I have Nike socks, I have Reebok socks. I have socks that are just for running. They got the extra padding on the toes and the heel. So, what's your thoughts at, like, what's the term where I'm wearing Nike shoes and Reebok socks is the best combination I found for me for running.
I don't have an issue with that. I wear mostly, I think I've got Reebok. My OCD comes in having socks that are the same. So that way it's easier to tell who's my socks. Actually, my wife had a pair of Under Armour black socks that kind of were close to mine, and I made her throw them away.
So you don't have an issue of wearing one brand and then mixing another brand.
No, I do that all the time because I don't wear Under Armour shoes. I don't like Under Armour shoes, but 90% of the clothes I wear is Under Armour, just because I don't know, they're supportive of the military and I like them. So
I'm not a big fan of Under Armour anything.
They make my arms look big, so I like them. So, but I mean, I wear Under Armour, Nike. I don't wear many Reebok clothes. I did buy a Reebok shirt one time.
Yeah, and you bought it. Was it called an athletic fit?
Yes.
And
I got the top half of the athletic. It's just the bottom half that kind of gets a little.
Was there
round.
A little muffin topping going on?
It was just tied in all the wrong places.
Yeah, I think I got that shirt. I still wear it.
Yeah, I remember. I think it still had the tag on it too. And I gave it to you. I'm like, here, you can have this. It's a Reebok CrossFit shirt. You don't want it? It's brand new. Yeah, I'm good.
Lo and behold, it just didn't fit right.
Yeah. So, and then I think I've got a pair of Nike CrossFit shorts, or Reebok CrossFit shorts. But I'm kind of really, and I know we weren't going to talk about shorts, but I'm really feeling those shorts that I made fun of you for wearing.
They are nice shorts.
I like them.
I got 2 pair now.
So I think I'm going to have to run to the Nike outlet store and buy some more of them.
Yeah,
I like the way
they fit. They're good fit. They're good for everything. They're light. They dry They dry really quick. I don't know which ones they are to talk. Since you bring that up, I wasn't expecting that question.
Yeah, but I don't know, they're not your typical nylon. They're more of they've kind of got, it's cut on the sides, so that way it's easier for squatting. And then like the hamstring to, I don't know, like the side, whatever they call that, the IT band area.
Mm-hmm.
There's kind of a stretchier material in them, so that way they kind of give that away for when you do squats and stuff. But yeah, they are more of a traditional, tighter fit than what I'm used to wearing.
And they're just called a Nike Dry Fit short right now, with flex material. Super good short. I know you made fun of me, and then lo and behold, you bought a pair, and look at you.
I know. I even wear them with tights.
It's a yesterday. Oh my God.
Oh Jesus, we got a close. It basically, he hooked up the thing, so we're actually going to not edit this because we like to keep things professional as he fixes it. But
all right, I'm back in the game.
Okay.
So now I've lost a complete train of thought. We was talking about shorts, and then
I don't really remember where you're going with it, but
so we digress. Back to the shoes. So do you find it an issue when you travel? I have to take almost 2 pairs of shoes when I go.
2 pairs is an understatement for the most part. I've changed a little bit now, but I remember like I would travel for work and I would take anywhere from three pairs at a minimum to up to 5 to 6, because I also have my casual tennis shoes, and then I have my dress casual shoes, as well as my CrossFit and my lifters, and then my running shoes as well.
I try to keep it, because when I'm traveling, I figure I can do any type of lifting with my nanos, and then on my run days, I'll take my Nikes. But I remember what it was. You started talking about tights. So it was so cold these last couple of days when Aaron and I have gone on these runs. I have a pair of Nike tights that I put underneath sweats because it's so cold.
I don't put them under sweats.
Thighs got. I did it one day before without them, and everything was like hurting on the front end. It was not good. I thought things were getting frostbit that didn't need to be frostbit. So I dug out the Nike tights for a little bit more insulation, and we have this run coming up over Memorial Weekend. So we have to run now, and if the sun's out and it's not too windy and there's not ice on the ground, I'll get out and I'll run. I don't care what the temperature is. I got enough stuff to do it, but it's way better than running on a treadmill for 10 miles.
Oh, I could imagine that. 2 miles, I don't know. 3 miles is kind of my limit on treadmills. I don't like to run over 3 miles on treadmills. So, but I'll pop on some Netflix and watch that while I'm running. So that's the only nice part.
Yeah, I don't know. So we've hit lifters, we've hit workout style shoes, like if you're doing Metcons, we've hit type of cardio shoes that we like to use.
Yeah.
But I also like to take, because after I've done all that, and some people maybe like this, may not. I like to slide into something where my feet are a little less pressure, a little bit more on the roof. So I like slides. And my favorite slides have always been Adidas slides.
No, I can't stand them. Have you ever tried the kind of the soft gel foot type ones that you see?
No.
I've never actually tried
just
those.
all hard plastic.
But yeah, I prefer more the sandal type, the flip flops, like the Nike ones, because I mostly use them for like taking a shower at the gym, so they dry fairly decently. And then also, like if I'm barbecuing and I don't feel like putting on shoes, I'll put those on.
I have flip flops too that I think it's like Oakley's or something like that, or some other off brand. But when staying in the camper, going in and out, so I got to have something that I slip on, slip off, and I can go in. I don't track up the camper too awful bad.
See, slides I can't keep on my feet, so I don't really care for them.
No, I'm a big advocate. And then, so do you wear slippers? when
No.
this cold because
No.
my floor would get so cold. For Christmas, Aaron got me some house slippers to walk around in.
No, I think I have a pair, but I don't think I've ever worn them.
They were awesome.
Yeah, no, I'm cool. I'm a man. Don't need slippers. My dad has a pair of slippers though.
Well,
Kind of cool.
I'll wear my slippers and drink my coffee, and
Yeah, that's
When
what
you-
my dad does
when
too.
you grow up someday, you can do the same.
Well, I'm sure my wife would agree with you, but probably not going to grow up yet. So,
But as far as shoes, I mean, that's my
yeah,
I guess
that's
triage
That's a
of
pretty
shoes.
extensive amount of shoes, and
Hey, do you see that wall right there, man? Do you see how many shoes are right there?
well, I do want to point out, and I think you should try these and tell me how they go. There's a company called Highlight, and I know a few guys in my old gym bought these shoes, and they make mostly like you see a lot of the CrossFit shorts, but they're called circuit cross training shoes, and essentially they're to be used for lifting, training, and running. They've got 3 different insoles that you can flip in to each one of them. The lift, of course, has the 0 millimeter drop, which is more of a flatter, which is what you want. And then train, I'm guessing more for your Metcon style shoes. But and then you got a running insole. So essentially there's 3 insoles. I know.
So it's one shoe, just 3 insoles for
Yeah.
lift, train, and run
Yeah.
with one shoe.
And I haven't asked the guys. I'll probably have to ask them, hit them up next time I'm in that gym and see if they, because I know that they pre-ordered them.
You know what
when
they
first
look
came
like?
out.
They look like the Nike Metcons.
See, I think they look more like Nanos a
That-
little bit, but
that-
they also have the Vibram
Soles.
soles. And I don't know if you remember Vibram back when CrossFit first came out.
I
One
have
of
a pair.
One of the big ones are the toe shoes.
Yeah, I got a pair.
So,
somewhere.
and of course, like combat boots and stuff like that, some of the soles are Vibram, but the Vibram five fingers is
Yeah.
what they're called. So, those I don't know. I really think you should try those out.
Well, you
so-
buy them for me, and I'll try them out.
This is not how this works.
I think that's exactly how it should work.
So I'll tell you what. I'll hit base with them, and if they say they're good, you can buy them. Put a little change on things. They're only $120.
I know.
It's all pocket change.
Yeah, sure.
So, I mean, that's what you spend on Nanos usually. So
Well,
I don't.
You don't see new Nanos, do you?
Hey, it is what it is. I go through shoes a lot. That was my problem when I had Nikes. I would buy them fairly cheap at like an outlet store, and I would just go through them. Like I remember I had Nikes just last week. I was like, okay, I've never used these before. I've worn them one time, and I'll throw them away or give them away. I don't really throw them away.
I like the Nike.
So, but anyways, that concludes our shoe portion, right? So, another thing with working out that we like to do is, and it comes more with like all the new electronics and stuff. You don't really work out unless you track it. So the way to track it is to get a watch that tells you to get off your butt and move. So I don't know about your style watch, but I've had the Fitbit and just recently got the Apple Watch a couple weeks ago, probably 3 weeks ago now.
So I think that's enough time to. You wore that Fitbit for a while.
Yeah, I had the Fitbit for 2, and I had a previous Fitbit before that for probably 2 years. So
You remember
roughly
what model it was?
the first one.
No, the one you just switched from.
Oh, I had the Fitbit Blaze. So it was the first kind of color screen one that was more like a watch versus like the thinner one that's more of a analog style
Yeah,
looking thing.
I think my daughter has one of those.
But yeah, I had the Fitbit Blaze that kind of you could see text messages on the other ones too.
So did it? I'm assuming Fitbit probably has some app that it would download all of your track.
And when I bought the Blaze, I was debating between the Apple Watch and the Fitbit. And more of my friends had the Fitbit, so I kind of went with the Fitbit. And then I changed my mind this last time and bought an Apple Watch.
So what's the big difference you think between the two?
Well, of course, I'm an Apple product person. So Of course, the connectivity with the Apple Watch is better than the Fitbit, but the health app I'm not really good on, which is what Apple uses, and a lot of add-on stuff. So I didn't have to download a separate app to track my sleep, but with the Apple Watch I do.
So are you able to sleep with your watch on?
Yes.
I can't do it. I cannot do it. It catches on things.
No, I have to sleep.
I cannot sleep with a watch on.
I charge it throughout the day. Anytime I'm in the car or laying in bed, I'll charge it, because that's the thing that sucks about Apple Watches. I got one of the, I think they're called Generation 4s, and they last about a day.
The battery does?
Yeah. So, and it might be where I work at, not great service, so they're constantly searching for signal. But it's the one with the GPS and the cellular or whatever.
So your Fitbit, did it have, like, did you store music on it, or would it play music through?
No, it would just run as a remote control for my phone.
For your phone. So one of the main differences for you is you're able to listen to music on your, whether you upload or you get like a Spotify Premium or something like that.
Well, see, that was the thing with Spotify. I did have Spotify Premium for almost a year, I would say. And I just recently switched to like the the Apple Music one, because that's the only one that will stream from your watch. You have to have your
Spotify will stream.
Not from your watch. You have to have your phone with you, which defeats the whole purpose.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm positive.
Maybe say Erin subscribed to Spotify, and maybe she creates a playlist which she can upload to her watch.
I don't know. I couldn't get it to work, and I did some research, and it said, hey, it won't work, Apple Watch. I think Pandora might have worked, but I'm not a big Pandora fan, so I switched to Apple Music.
And that was, some of the big things that go with these smartwatches is I always, would throw my phone in my pocket, because at that point I didn't have a smartwatch. So, if I knew how far I was going to run, if I needed to know that, or my times, I would just use my phone. And then it's kind of swinging around, and I hate holding something in my hand.
I used to do that.
And then I went through where I had that strap on my arm, and
I had the strap back on my iPod Classic. That's how far back I went with the strap.
So now the ability to put the music on the watch itself, be it you stream it or you upload it, and it Bluetooths to your headphones, which you don't have any cords, it's awesome. I mean,
oh yeah, and that was a big selling point. That's the reason why I wanted to get the Apple Watch, to be able to run with that, because I did do that. My phone just keeps getting bigger and bigger, so. It was getting, it might weigh the same, but it's still like, it's almost like running with an iPad on your arm.
Well, so I am also an Apple. I have an iPhone, but I went the other route. I went with the Garmin originally. I went with the Vivio Active 3 Music, and the reason why I went with that is because it was cheaper than the Phoenix 5, which is like their, top of the line, or one of the top of their line sport watches. And I got the music, and it's just a little bit small, thin, doesn't weigh very much. It just doesn't feel like a watch to me.
Yeah.
I don't want to say, I'm just going to say that it's just too light. It's too small. It's not what I liked. So then I decided, well, maybe I'll give the Apple Watch a try. And then my wife has one. I look at it, and I just am not a fan of the square face.
Yeah, that was some. The Blaze had a square face too, so it wasn't that big of a deal. I think the round is kind of like old man style. So
yeah, I mean, say what you will, but
I don't know. I really like.
I think you either like it or you don't.
And,
yeah. So after I did that, I went ahead. It was during the holidays. I found a really good deal on a Phoenix 5 Plus series. Now, the main difference between this Phoenix 5 and the Vivio Active is the Vivio Active, it is touchscreen. So you can use everything touchscreen. The Phoenix 5, it's buttons, which I'm more comfortable with because I was always finding myself hitting that screen and it would switch to something. I don't know if they have that issue with the Apple Watch or not.
Well, like if I'm listening to a podcast on my phone, it's also says it's playing here. So when I'm laying in bed listening and playing on my phone, especially if I'm sleeping on my stomach, I'll hit the speed button where it either makes it like a speed and a half or half the speed.
Yeah.
So it constantly screws that up. But for the most part, yeah, I don't care for that part of it.
Well, but I will say one of the more benefits to the Apple Watch versus any of the Garmin's, if you're running it doesn't matter if you're running an Android phone or an Apple phone. You can't, I can't text through here. I can see my text. I can, see somebody calling, links to my calendar. I can see all that, but I can't, respond to a text or pick up a call. Which I'm okay with that because majority of the time, if, I'm just having my watch and I'm doing something that, okay, I'll get back to them after I'm done doing with whatever I'm doing. Or I leave my phone more on, I know you did this a lot even before, but I leave my phone on vibrate a lot more just because I get the notification on my watch.
My phone stays on vibrate. It doesn't leave vibrate, so.
And then I pull out, I have a G-Shock.
Jesus, that's like, gosh, how old is that?
Well, I bought it 2 years ago.
Old.
And this is one of my favorite watches to work out on for the simple fact it's simple. When I'm on the track and I'm doing track work,
for splits,
it's just time. That's all I need. And then it even have a 5-second countdown to when we start, so that even when I was running with Buck White and a few others, we was running 400 meters for time. Everyone could listen to it. It wasn't like someone was going, ready, 3, 2, 1, go, and you get a half step on them, when you're leaving the line. Yeah. So I really enjoy this watch. It's tough. The batteries last forever. It's a good watch. And even if you just want to go out and run and you don't give a hoot about mileage or seeing how far you've ran and you just want to keep time that you've ran out, it's a really good watch. It just breaks you away from all the connectivity, and you can still accomplish what you need to accomplish.
Now, I do have a question. Before all these ages of the smartwatches and stuff, you actually wore a watch beforehand, though, correct?
Yes.
See, I didn't. I think I might have wore it a little bit in high school or had like a Fossil watch or something like that, But I didn't wear a watch before I started buying Fitbits and stuff.
Yeah, I would wear one, but then again, so it's weird. I'm weird.
Yes.
When in the summertime when it's really hot and you start sweating underneath of your watch, it drives me absolutely insane. I have to take the watch off. So summertime, I didn't wear a watch a whole lot.
You're weird.
Yep, I am weird.
Either way.
So with these watches, are you a big advocate, or do you look at your steps? Are you into that?
See, steps only work depending on what kind of cardio you're doing. So my steps don't track if I'm on a bike or if I'm on a stair climber. So I don't really look at it that much. I mean, if I'm doing predominantly like treadmill running or running outside and stuff, but
so you don't have a step goal that you try to reach every day. I mean, no. I know a lot of people do that, which is great.
I did when I had the Fitbit, but since I've started moving more toward my cardio more towards bike and stair climber, I don't really do that.
So we're gonna have to do the step challenge. You know what that is, right?
Well, I've heard like on the Bobby Bones show that they were talking about that.
Yeah. So 6 weeks, they set a goal of what you have to do to run or steps, and you throw $40 in, and as long as you stay within your means, you stay what you're supposed to do. You hit your goals every day. At the end of that 6 weeks, whoever is still in splits the pot.
Yeah. Well, they also have like a weight bet too. I know that's exactly the same way. that you have to meet, and it's based off your percentage, not your like actual pounds. So,
well, you get off this surgery, and
see though, it's funny because I could easily average 15,000 steps on my Fitbit, but
you
Apple
can't
Watch,
attach it to your dog.
No, but what I'm saying with Apple Watch, I'll be lucky if I get 10 to 12, and that's a very active day. So I don't. It doesn't calculate the same. I will tell you that.
Well, I will say that when Erin and I go run together, and I'll be running my Garmin, and she's running her Apple Watch, minus this last 5-mile run that we went on, it's been off a quarter of a mile, dang near. Well, not quite a quarter. Let's say 15/10 of a mile.
So, I mean, and the main thing is for most people, it's just to track. As long as it's consistently tracking, it doesn't matter what measure it's measuring in because you're still tracking what you're doing, you know.
Right. Well,
miles don't really matter, and in the grand scheme of things, I mean, calories don't matter. It's just something to chart your progress over, in my opinion.
True, but with this said, 1, you like money. 2, you will stick to anything just to prove a point. So I think we go in on this and win a little bit of money and put back towards the podcast.
Well, I mean, I have no issues putting everything behind exercising, if you ask my wife. So I get that a lot. But I'm trying to get in shape for the surgery. I'm a little worried. So
that, speaking of which, is next Monday.
Yeah, so not really in shape. I mean, I'm coming close to my goal, so I think I'll hit it. So if not, who cares? I mean,
well, since then it is next Monday. Our next episode, I know you want to do it post-op.
I want to do it. I want to have everything set up before I go into surgery and come home. As soon as I'm dropped off, I need you to be there, and we're going to hit record. It's going to be amazing.
Well, we'll play that by ear, but if we don't get it out next week on time, we'll get it out as soon as we can, depending on how you're feeling.
Yeah, I feel like we'll put it out sometime next week. Might not be Monday, but definitely sometime. So
don't give up on us. We'll get that podcast out. We just got to let Landon get in a little bit better condition, because we don't want him all jacked up on some kind of painkiller, and then it's all trying to bleep out or cut out, and you guys
I don't cuss. Never said a cuss word in my entire life.
But
all right, but that concludes our episode, I would say.
Yeah. And if you did enjoy the last week's podcast with the interview, that's something that the interview with Troy Green, that's something that we want to do a lot more of. If it's the right type of, if it fits our mold, or if that's the kind of content we're going to put in, or whatever they're supporting, it's something good. So if you know of anybody, or you yourself, have a story that you want to get out there, get in contact with us. We'd love to get you on here and talk to you and get your word out there. But I really enjoyed that one, and I look forward to our next one.
All right. I think that's it. Like, subscribe.
Yeah, we're on Instagram.
Please start sharing, especially the YouTube. We need to get our numbers up on YouTube. They are struggling.
Well, we're, on YouTube, it's the Geo Bachelors. On Instagram, it's at the Geo Bachelors, and we're also out on Facebook. Like, subscribe, share, all the things. I think we've
said that 4 times. All right.
And we're on all the podcasts.
Yep, all the podcast places. All right, ready?
Out.